Once upon a now, there was a man, a strong man, a brave man, a man who knew how to grab the world by the throat and squeeze. A man who wouldn't take no for an answer, who wouldn't be caught weak or uncertain. This was a man celebrated by other men, admired by many women, but the attention meant nothing to him, as strong and independent as he was. Not a care in this world did this man have, except a dragon or two that he would slay masterly in front of a cheering, awestruck audience. Keep them coming, he would scoff, standing on top of the dragon's dead body. I fear no one and nothing. But once upon a now, there was also a shadow of this man, a frail man, a frightened man, a man who felt the world around his throat squeezing until he couldn't breathe. A shivering, needy, childlike man, celebrated by no one and immensely intimidated by women. Attention meant everything to him, as weak and clingy as he was. This man had all the cares in the world. He hurt for the dragons he slayed. He cried for the women he scarred. Make it stop, he would sob, standing on top of the dragon's dead body. I fear everyone and everything. The man hated his shadow with every cell of his being. A curse, he would rumble while trying to rip it from his body. But the shadow followed him everywhere. Like a frightened child, it whimpered into his ear and tapped at his chest for attention. The man tried everything to rid himself of the shadow. He slayed more dragons, he took more women, he cared for nothing and no one. But the shadow's voice simply grew in volume. It was always there, reaching for him, whispering to him about how similar they really were. One day, the man's frustration drew him to something he'd been avoiding as much as his shadow: praying. Take this cowardly shadow away from me before anyone sees him, he called toward the clouds. The sky opened and a light enveloped his body. The man knew his prayer had been answered. Nobody would ever know his burden. But the man's relief was short-lived, because now he noticed people's stares and whispers. Everyone could suddenly see the red-eyed, fragile shadow next to him that he so carefully had been hiding. The man was mortified with humiliation. Cowardly shadow, how are you still here? I asked to be rid of you. The shadow looked at him and shrugged. Maybe I'm not the cowardly shadow. Maybe you are. After all, you were always the one running from me. And he extended a hand. You don't have to be scared of me. Come. And the man, feeling his lack of option and more frightened than he could ever imagine, grabbed the shadow's hand. For a moment, he didn't know whether he was the man or the shadow, but it didn't matter, because in that instance, shadow and man was one, and for the first time in his life, he was really and truly fearless.